Hello, hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here, as ever, for today's ACCA Advanced Audit Assurance video, where we're going to walk and talk you through some P7 top tutor tips, how to pass your examination, and to get that 50 plus, to get you over the line, because it might be your last exam to become ACCA qualified. And I know just the lady who is going to help us walk and talk us through those top tips. So, Lavanya, feel free to introduce yourself, my friend.
Thank you so much, James. It's a great pleasure to be on your YouTube channel. Thank you once again. So I am going to talk about advanced audit and assurance straight away. What are the things that you need to know as a student? And what is the best way for you to get that 50 marks, Getting the 50 mark is now is a challenge. So I'm going to get you through and make sure that you pass the paper. Okay, so for this paper, advanced audit and assurance, one of the things that I would always ask the student, how is your ACCA audit and assurance paper was, and second thing is how was your strategic business reporting paper? So this two, when I say how was it, is what I mean by that was the fundamentals strong. You see, why am I actually emphasizing a lot on this is, I have students who I've actually guided or shared with them that because of these two fundamentals is not there, when you come to advanced audit and assurance, you're going to really struggle on. So what they did is they went back and revisit the audit and assurance and strategic business reporting paper again before they get into any course. So just go into that again. Try to revisit, refresh your mind. What was the mindset that you had? You see, you are seeing, advanced audit and assurance. You have an auditor mindset. Strategic business reporting paper is an accountant. So accountant's mindset is different with an auditor's mindset. So that mindset, you also need to be able to connect it towards the end. But yeah, your audit and assurance fundamental, the topics that you have covered there, like ethics, your audit risk, your audit evidence, audit procedures, reporting, everything is there in your advanced audit. Everything is there. It's just that in advanced audit and assurance paper, it will be slightly different, probably other assignments, and then you have current issues over there.
Exactly.
As well as, and definitely the level of difficulty is much more higher compared to audit and assurance. Yeah, that's for sure. So getting that fundamentals first, right, would really get you, okay, this is what I need to have, or this is what I need to have as a starting point before even engaging into the course of advanced audit and assurance.
Yeah, so just think about the mark that you got in your audit and assurance and SBR exam. If it's between 50 to 59, 60, then maybe going back to have a look at some of your old core texts, some of those actual technical articles, because maybe you've got a bit of time before you actually start your tuition. Definitely recommend that so that you're up to speed with the process of doing an audit from start to finish, really.
Yeah, thank you so much, James. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And another thing, if you notice, during your course of structure for advanced audit and assurance, one part of it will also be about accounting standards. But if you can already do that before even engaging into a course, that will really give you a very good grasp of whatever you are learning eventually in the chapters. So you're not going to read it again when you're starting the course back. So that's one of the things that I want to have as a fundamental before even going into the top tips of advanced audit and assurance. So yeah, now let's dive into this, right? So I have few tips which I want to share to all type of students. This is going to be a general one, not those who are working, not full-time. So it's going to be a very general one. But if you need any specific kind of a question or answers, then please do reach out to James and eventually reach out to me for the specific questions.
They can leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll also put Lavanya's details in the video so you can reach out directly to her as well. But let's get stuck into them now, Lavanya. What are the key areas that you want to highlight for today?
Yeah, correct. So for the first one is, I want to make sure that you are aware, or the top tip that you must aware of is the changes in the professional marks. You see, what happens is the professional marks is now playing so so much important role. As much as many students think that professional marks is making them miserable, but but that's not the truth. Okay, actually, professional marks is getting you nearer to the passing mark. Let me break it down. Why it's going to be nearer? You see, professional mark last time was only 4 marks. Okay, and it was only in question number 1, and now it becomes 20 marks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's question 1, 10 marks, question 2, 5 marks, and then question 3, another 5 marks. So this marks, and it's being now evaluated into 4 things, and it's very, very easy for you to get that marks because it's like you're writing your answer in a technical manner, that your technical answer, you're going to get extra 1 mark for writing that exact answer. So don't you think that it's going to be like a double mark for you, which is going to get you nearer to the passing mark?
Yeah,
So
and for any student who's a bit confused by how is it actually applied, these professional skills marks, they're actually, as you're completely right, they're embedded within your answer. So you get extra marks for communication, skepticism.
Exactly.
These are all embedded, and it's more of a holistic view, ACCA say. So it all comes down with question practice and feeding back to your tutors and having a look at the ACCA resources, so you really know how you're actually picking up on those marks. Even just a report format will get marks as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's correct, James. Because ACCA has been helping students with regards of the changes that are happening currently in terms of professional marks. They have already almost give what's going to come out for the exam. They're already helping you so much. It's just you just need to take your action, read through it, get the understanding correctly with regards of the 4 types of professional marks there. So like analysis and evaluation, communication, all these things, right? So make sure you're very, very well versed about that. So that's the first one I would say. Make sure you are aware of the changes. Second thing is question practice. I cannot emphasize more. Question practice is like really like a Bible, or I would say like a God for your question practice. Without question practice, you're not going to get the mindset of the examiner. You're not going to get the understanding of the examiner at all. So for me, or generally a very normal student, I would suggest them again to practice at least 5 question practice, latest 5 question practice. And if you notice, ACC has been helping. They also even have a pre-mock exam, if you notice that, which is super helpful, I would say. Like the pre-mock exam is going to be the very last paper that you're going to like, just sit down, 3 hours, 15 minutes, do the paper, get someone to mark, and you are good to go for the exam. So this kind of resources that ACCA is giving you is really going to give you that emphasis or that kind of mindset that you need to cultivate over the, like 1 week before the exam, 2 weeks before the exam.
Yeah.
Which is really, really going to be helpful for you. Yeah.
They have some free webinars you can have a look on. You've also got the extra past paper questions. Then you've got the CBE platform on top of it. But it's the other thing, which when I unfortunately failed the Advanced Audit Assurance exam, was I didn't put enough emphasis on reviewing the answers and then also the mark scheme as well, just so you could see how the marks are broken down, how many points you need to make. And it's the difference between a basic point, which won't get you the marks, versus a specific and detailed point linked back to the scenario, which will definitely give you the mark.
Yeah, just adding on to that, right, James? For those who are watching this, so when you are referring to suggested answer, this is one thing I realize students tend to do without doing the question fast. Okay, just skimming the question and then reading the suggested answer. You see, many students does that, right? That is a no thing. Don't do that until you're very confident. Okay, don't do that as your starting point. Your practice must be you practice it. Okay, this question I'm going to write down my answer, type out my own answers. Then only you're going to look through the suggested answer and kind of see what's missing, how to improve, and all of that. Even for that, there's one thing you can focus on is when you go to the suggested answer all the way towards the end, there is a marking scheme which has the marks allocated. That's what James was telling just now, right? So I would like to emphasize on that. You see, the one at the front part is the suggested answer from ACCA. They took so much of time to analyze it, so that the answers are very, very long. So don't have the mindset that during the exam, that is how much long I need to write a paragraph. That's not the truth. Okay, what you need to instead focus on is the marking scheme towards the end. And there is a keyword, right? And this is 1 mark, 1.5 marks, materiality, this is like 1.1 marks and then 1 to 3 marks and things like that. So you need to know how many marks is it being allocated for each of the topic actually. Like what I thought, I mean, what I was like very frustrated, not frustrated, but I was surprised when students said they don't know how many marks per audit risk gives you. You see, writing an audit risk, yeah, it can vary 2 to 3 marks or 4 marks depending on how you're explaining. But there is a very specific technique that the examining team itself needs it. And if you want to get through the examiner's mindset, go to these free resources where they will actually have exam technique part 1, part 2, part 3. So they have been very, very structured manner. That's exactly what they want, and definitely the examiner's report. So that would help as well in terms of getting that technique right.
Yeah, along with doing those questions 2 times, reviewing your answers, and being really critical as to, did I actually really pick up on the mark there or not, I would say. And don't fall into the trap. Remember, the exam is marked by a human, okay, at the end of the day. So a marker is not going to want to see a full page of just all answer on there. If you've got a 8-mark question and it's about audit risks, well, that's going to be 4 audit risks that you're going to have to identify and then explain with how it's going to be either reduced or a safeguard in place. So it should be 4 paragraphs, nicely split out for the marker to go through and say, right, is there 2 marks up at the top there or is there 1? And that's how I always say to my students, put your answer how you would want to mark it yourself on there. So not just a full page, break it up into the 4 different paragraphs for that example, and you've got such a better chance of getting the marks versus the examiner having to fish out for a mark here and there, and you're probably going to miss out on easy points as well under the exam pressure.
Yeah, exactly. The more the examiner is happier with your answers, which you make their life easier, they will make your life easier as well. That's what I share to my students. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. I mean, are there any other final points, Lavanya, that come to your mind now that if you had to do the Advanced Audit and Assurance exam next week, what would you be doing for your preparation, revision? What are the final points that come to your mind?
Okay, this is something I wanted to share for Advanced Audit and Assurance students. Let's say you have 1 month to go for the exam. Okay, let's say 1 month to go, right? What I will normally tell to students is, I want you all to revisit whatever you have learned over the period of probably 3 months course or a 5 months course, right? I personally tell them to write it out again using a mind map, which is, let's take a few important topics: ethics, professional issues, quality control. These 3 is like definitely going to come out. It's either question 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
So it's like a package there, right? So whatever that comes to your mind, it's not just the ethical threats. It's more than that. So you must be able to know what kind of scenarios and everything. Write it down in a piece of paper, cramp it as much as you can for that topic, and same goes to the other topics with the exam technique. This is something I would ask students to do 1 month before the exam. Okay. Then over the weeks when they start doing their practices and everything like that, right? So they would be having, oh, okay, this is something I didn't know back then. You know, this is something I'm learning something new. So what are you going to do is you're going to revisit back the mind map that you have and add into it. And this mind map is going to be like, again, like a Bible or Al Quran, or you know Bhagavad Gita for Hindu people. So it's going to be like that before your exam. So this is not only understanding about the subject, but also the exam technique, which is very crucial.
Yes.
So that's something, I mean, I did when I was a student. I did that before going into the exam hall, like few hours before the exam. I just like look through it.
Mm.
Okay, I'm good to go.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, mine would be computer-based examination, doing my
yes,
questions on there to time
yes,
as if it was the real exam. No distractions, no no music, nobody coming in, nobody trying to FaceTime you, all that sort of stuff.
yeah.
Exactly, fully focused in on it. My second point, which is one of the key things we've talked about today, is applying back to the scenario. That is just one of the things the examiner will just go, you've made a good point, but you've not applied it back to the scenario. And that's another area where students will fail. And the final thing is really being specific and applying your audit knowledge to that scenario. So whether it be an analytical procedure, audit evidence, you've got to know that actual structure from start to finish, what part of the audit, what's the sort of seniority of the people who we're dealing with, and just going through it bit by bit. And then just, I always have like little buzzwords in my answers to say, right, if I'm going through the scenario, because you haven't got time in the exam, it's so time pressured. You're going through the scenario and you're
Exactly.
thinking, right, I've got audit risk to pick up on. First paragraph, right, audit risk was the directors are becoming too familiar because they play golf at the weekend. Right, first buzzword, golf on there. So just little things like that
Yeah,
becomes your little points that then you can apply in your answer, and it'll come with practice. You're going to have the days like Lavanya and I
absolutely.
know where you just got to sit down and you go, oh my word, I've got to go do an advanced audit assurance past paper today and I really don't
Yeah.
want to do it. But trust me, it will pay
Oh,
dividends on there. And if you don't work in audit and you're doing the advanced audit assurance paper, really get to know that core text, because it's that level of detail that they're looking for, which was unfortunately the reason why I failed it first time. And I kid you not, I went through every chapter, Lavanya. It was on my list. I just thought, you know what? I don't know it enough. I've got to go through it every chapter. It was painful, but it was one of the
yeah.
biggest sort of lessons that you learned from it on there. But thank you so much for all of your
Yeah,
insights today,
exactly.
Lavanya. I've really enjoyed it. I've been reminiscing about all those hours in the library revising audit and assurance.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much for actually conducting such sessions for the students.
Uh,
Thank
uh,
you so much.
well, thank you for all of your insights. And like I said, guys, I'll put all of Lavanya's details and channel down below. Make sure you go check it out. Some fantastic stuff on there. And if you've liked today's video, give it a massive thumbs up below, along with subscribing so you get access to all the free materials. We've obviously done some other videos with Lavanya and myself, so check those out. Great tips in there. And if you've got any questions or comments, leave us one below. Let us know how you got on in your exam. I'd love to hear if our little tips and tricks today was the difference in you getting that 50 plus, getting you over the line and passing your examination, because that's what it's all about. But as I said, thank you so much for today, Lavanya. Really enjoyed it. And we'll see you soon, guys. Have a great day and best luck with your exam.